If you're traveling to Europe and you've got a DJI Mini 3 Pro, then I'm going to let you know what insurances, registration and operator's ID that you need to get and what authorities to contact. So let's dive in and take a look. If you're traveling to Europe with a DJI Mini 3 Pro, you do need an operator's registration number and you do not need to take the remote pilot certification exam. So just to be clear, but more on that later. So let's just have a look at some of these facts here. I will put links to all the information that I give you in the notes below, so you can check all those out. Now, you do need to get an EASA UAS operator's registration number, and UAS is Unmanned Aircraft Systems, UAS. Now, this is available from the National Aviation Authorities, which is part of the European member state and is accepted throughout Europe. One thing you do need to know is that wherever you're traveling to, you make the registration in that country and it's then valid throughout Europe, and your application is valid for 3 years. So you just make it once for the first destination that you're going to, and that's all you need to do. So the EASA has a website which is really useful. There's lots of information here, and there'll be all links to all the different countries' websites for drone activity, where it shows you where you're allowed to fly, how to register as a drone operator, online pilot training test if you do have a drone that's heavier than 250 grams, and how to make your application. So again, that link's below, so you'll find that really useful. The next really useful link we have is drone maps of Europe, and you can scroll down to the country that's relevant to you, click on those links and it will take you through to the relevant maps. Now, for my example here, I'm actually traveling to Cyprus, so I'm going to use that as an example. If I click through to the Cyprus website, it gives me a whole lot more information here about their regulations, why you register and what you need to get. And at the bottom, it gives you the actual links through to operators registration, an actual online training and online examination, and it's €15 for each of those processes. Now, for the DJI Mini 3 Pro, it's under 250 grams, and it obviously, does have a camera on it that can collect data, so therefore you do need to register, get the operator's registration, and that you'll have to print out and stick it on your drone. If you've got a Mavic 3, for example, it's over 250 grams, then you will need to do the online examination for the remote pilot certification, and you'll get the A1A3 remote pilot certification. I did it anyway in the UK, and it's not that tough. If you're flying regularly, you should know all the laws and regulations that you're flying to. Whether you've done this certification or not, you should investigate all this information and learn it. A lot of the countries will advise you to do that certification. I was still unsure because on the website it says it encourages you to do it, and didn't specifically say for our drones you didn't need to do it. So I actually emailed them directly. They did respond within a couple of hours saying, no, I don't need that certification. So I've got a copy of that email and I will hang on to that. And then on further investigation, I found a really good website by Drone Traveller. So thank you to Drone Traveller for all your work and the information that you give, and there's a link to them below. They'll give you tips on some real local quirks that you should know about. And indeed, with places like Cyprus, you do need to apply to fly in their airspace. So although I might not be flying near an airport, or I'm flying somewhere there's no archaeological sites, still you need to make that application to fly in their airspace. So what you do is you just follow this link that will be on the government website for drones of that country, and you can see a more detailed map of where the restriction airspaces are. You can zoom into the area that's relevant to you. And for example, with Greece, there's a little drop down the top right hand side where you put in your coordinates, and you can mark with a polygram your coordinates. It'll give you a red outline of where you're going to fly. You take screenshots of that and you send it on to the authorities for approval, which I did by filling out this form and ticking all the relevant boxes, and I sent it to them. And again, within a couple of hours they came back and they said there's absolutely no problem with my flight plan, and I just put a 2-week period and a rough area of where I expected to be flying, near where I'm staying. And again, I'll print all this out and take it with me just to be sure. But once you've completed your registration, you'll get email confirmation, and the UAS operator registration will be recorded. They'll send you a code. That code you need to print out, stick onto your drone where it's clearly visible. And they also advise that, assuming your drone can do it, depending on what drone you have, that you upload a certain code to the drone. My advice to you would be to print all this documentation out, make sure you follow all these steps by labeling your drone clearly, checking in with the local authorities to make sure you haven't missed any steps and you get any problems with flying. Have that all with you and available, so if anyone does challenge you, you can prove you've got the right confirmation from the authorities and you've got the right labeling and everything on your drone, and you shouldn't have a problem. Well, I hope that's helped you plan your trip to Europe. If you want to see more videos on drones, click on the link over here, and please show me the love, subscribe to the channel, click on the link over here, and hopefully I'll see you over there.